What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Lockdown 23-1. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going down the grimy road. That's right, not the high road like I'm used to nowadays, but the grimy road. The low road, the slime ball road. Before I went to prison, I was definitely a thief, a robber, and a manipulator. I don't know where I gained these attributes from, because my parents and my brothers were nothing like that. It's something that I kind of just gleaned from other individuals I grew up with, I guess, perhaps. I grew up with a bunch of poor friends, so the only way we knew how to get what we needed was to either take it from someone or trick them out of it. And those were some of the tactics I took with me to lock up. Some people, after doing a couple bids, they grow up and, they take the high road. Especially me. On my second bid, I didn't do none of this shit. But on my first bid, I definitely had a lot of griminess still stuck within. And in prison, regardless of how you carry yourself, if you're going to take the high road and be more of a respectable individual in prison, or take the low road and be a liar, sneak thief, whatever the case is, behind bars, both of them each come with a certain level of manipulation. In prison, there's, I'd say, about three things that really amount to your level of success and how easy your ride's going to be. One, physical attributes. I don't care what you say, size matters in prison. Intimidation, whatever you like to call it, it matters. Some people won't even test you if you're big enough. Now, if that big guy carries himself in the wrong way, someone probably will test you. And not just one person, probably a handful. Jump game on 100 on those big guys. But anyways, physical attributes, of course, God, because I'm a religious individual, so I believe in protection from above, I guess you could say. And three, manipulation. That's all there is to it. Manipulation. And a lot of people, and I've said it to you before, in some prisons, yes, you can't just carry yourself in a certain way to a certain degree with respect, and people probably leave you alone just simply based upon that. But a lot of prisons I've seen, it didn't matter about that shit at all. Okay, it mattered about manipulation and playing the game the way you need to play the game. And it's just like out here in the streets. Okay, you'll see someone that don't like you, but they'll like your posts, or they'll leave a comment in the comment section, or whatever the case is. They have alternate agendas. There's manipulation all around you. People will always help you to a certain degree to advance their situation, whatever the case is. And that's a problem that I have now to this day, is asking the two questions that I always ask myself in prison. If someone that I know don't really rock with me, man, the two questions I ask is, why are you here, and what do you want? I still say that to myself almost every single day with certain individuals that I haven't talked to in a while, or whatever the case is. And usually I'm always right. They're messaging me out the blue, not to just say, hey, how's life, how's your family? But really, in about 2 messages later, they got an alternate agenda. That's when it comes out. I ain't no dumbass. But the street life has nothing to do with what I'm talking about today. That's just the type of scenario or situation that y'all might come across as well in whatever social media platform you might have, or anyone out in the streets. You ain't talked to someone in 2 months and they happen to come by your house, say, what's up, man? You got to ask yourself when he pulls up to the door, what the hell are you doing here, and what does he want? Those were the two main questions I asked myself in prison. But the reason why I'm telling you all this is to lead up to a story. One of my grimiest moments in lockup. I had a lot of grimy moments. On my first ride in prison, boy, prison manipulation was my ultimate key to success. Of course, my higher powers as well looking after me. I chalk a lot of that up to that. But I definitely wasn't living right, and I ask myself all the time, how can my higher power be protecting me if I'm not even living right? I'm not living that righteous life. So a lot of times I just chalk it all up to manipulation in my talk game. And I didn't have the physical attributes. I was a tiny little jank, you know what I mean? But there's many ways to manipulate even the biggest of individuals to think a different way towards you, even though you don't have those physical attributes. All kinds of ways. And I could sit here for about an hour or two telling you them, but I've told you throughout my videos, if you want to go watch my earlier videos, I explain a lot about manipulation in prison. But nowadays, I don't do that shit, man. I've realized that manipulation is just fraudulent. It's fraudulent. You're living a lie, and I don't want to live a lie no more. I want to be a good guy in all ways, shape, and forms. That's why I let a lot of individuals get over on me, man. I do. Nowadays, to an extent. I allow these people to get over on me, even though I know what time it is. I'll put a smile on, and I'll just bypass it, won't even speak on it. Because I'm trying to take the high road, right? Now, this is not, I know some people are like, oh, who's he talking about? I'm not talking about nobody. I'm talking about grimy moments in prison. Okay, and I'm just giving you a little bit of background of me as a person growing up outside of prison and taking it with me inside. I was grimy. In the streets, I only befriended individuals, I'd say probably from the age of like 14 and up, maybe even younger. The only reason why I was befriending you is because I was going to get something from you or take something from you. And yes, I know a lot of people are probably judging me right now. And that's perfectly fine. I judge myself, and I was a piece of shit. But becoming friends with individuals on the streets for all of the wrong reasons, to get what I wanted or to rob them, I took it with me in prison. That's all I knew. But in prison, you have to change it up. You got to learn to adapt. And I understood this as soon as I walked in. See, on the streets, you could do someone dirty, and they'll find out about it. Hey, you're on the streets. Catch me if you can, dog. In prison, you do someone dirty, you can't get caught because you're still living with the dude. So you got to change it up in different ways, shapes, and forms. But maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that later on down the road. But let's get into one of my grimiest moments in lockup. Was in jail. It was in jail, actually. In jail, people be starving, man. They do anything and everything they can to hustle up some food. And luckily for me, the majority of my time I had someone send me food, not so much my parents because they were pissed broke. But as you all know, I was a poker player. Okay, so I enjoyed playing poker, so I thought of ways to deceive people in the game that I loved the most, poker. There would be certain people that would run the poker game. Running the poker game can be very dangerous for the simple fact of what I'm about to tell you now. All right. In jail or prison, usually the poker chips are made out of cards. Okay, they're made out of cards, 10, 20, 50-cent chips to $1 chips, $5 chips, $10 chips, depending on how much money's in the game. But these chips were always made, for the most part, out of playing cards. Okay, they would either rip them in half, and they would make them look a certain way depending on their value. Okay, a quarter rip might be worth a quarter. A half a rip of a card, one whole half of a card might be $1. A whole card might be a $5 chip. Now these people that run the poker games, they're taking a big risk because at the end of the game, they got to cover the pot. And if you can't cover the pot, it will draw a lot of drama. So with that being said, poker chips being just playing cards, you usually tell which ones were the real from the fake, because the real poker chips would be faded and worn. And you could just tell. There might be a certain style of card that they don't even sell anymore, right? But these poker chips were brand new because the COs came in and took our last batch. So we had to remake all brand new poker chip cards. And they were brand new. They still had a little shine to them, And those are the best ones, especially if you're trying to get over on people, And the guy that was running the bank or the poker table, I couldn't stand his punk ass at all. But anyways, we're playing cards for a couple hours, and I'm up. I ain't really lose too much, and I ain't really win too much. But I wanted to win more. Now, here's when the grimy comes in, okay? Y'all knowing that the poker chips are brand new, pretty much playing cards. What I did was, and this wasn't the only time I did it numerous times, and it always worked. And no one ever really knew. How can you know, right? The only one that would ever have to take a loss was the person that ran the poker table. So in our poker games, for the most part, whoever had the most chips got to pick what food they got first. And I was like third in place, so I went third to pick what I wanted at the end of the game. But during the whole process, they locked down for something. I can't remember, probably mail call or some shit like that, count time. They lock down for all kinds of things. You take your poker chips into the cell with you, because you don't want the COs to see them on the table. They know what time it is. They'll take everything. So lockdown time comes, and you know, it is what it is. I go in to sell my poker chips, and I think a lot of y'all that have done time know where I'm leading this to. I went to sell, I made some more poker chips, added some more money to my bank. Fraudulent money, I guess you could say, counterfeit. I ain't give a shit. I couldn't stand the dude that was running the poker table. And even if I liked him a little bit, I'd probably still make some poker chips. You know what I mean? If I knew he had a lot of money, he could cover the bank regardless of however short it is, I'm gonna make my own poker chips. Now, if I had a little bit of morals and principle, I see the guy that he ain't got that much money. I know he ain't gonna cover that bank. I probably wouldn't do that shit to him, man, because I know what's about to come his way. This guy, he didn't have that much money, and I couldn't stand his ass any damn way. So I was in the cell for the lockdown, made my own poker chips. I tried to make them look as blended to the other ones as possible, but it wasn't too hard because the poker chips were pretty much brand new. And there were some kind of markings on them. I can't remember how they marked it. You always got to look at things like that because the guys that run the bank, they'll bring their own poker chips or they'll make them themselves, and they'll mark certain spots of the card, very tiny marks to make sure that those are poker chips and someone didn't bring some fake ones in, right? So I always look and examine all the cards and replicate whatever kind of marks they have on these poker chips. Now, at the end of the game, of course, I was up, a couple other people were up, we pick our canteen. Now, the guys that were down low, they're hungry, man. You know, they want their canteen too. But that shit ain't happening because the pot's all off. There was way more poker chips in the game than there was money, you know? So, long story short, dude got his ass whooped. Now, I strongly suggest you never do something like that, man. I was taking a huge risk doing it my damn self, you know? But, like I said, you could judge me all you want. I'm nothing like the man I used to be. It's just an interesting story. But like I said in the beginning of the video, and hundreds of videos that I've done made on this channel, first and foremost, never trust anybody. Ask those two questions. What is he doing here, and what does he want? I don't care what people say. I left prison on my second bid from a level 2, yes, St. Bride's. But my first bid, I left from Greensville. And anyone who has done time in Greensville Penitentiary in Virginia knows this shit ain't no game there, dog. So don't ever think I ain't seen the harder sides of the pen, because I have. And I had to do things a whole nother way en route because I didn't have the physical attributes. All I had in many situations was manipulation. But on a brighter note, today is canteen day for me. Christmas morning, I guess you could say. I'm about to go get my PS5. That's right. If you want to watch the unboxing and watch all the crazy games I'm going to be bringing y'all's way, go subscribe to my other channel, Mr. Death. And my Twitch channel, Death I Bring 757. We are live over there on both sides every single day, getting it in.